Hello everybody and welcome back to another episode of Microsoft Flight Simulator, and today I'm going to show you guys how to set your helicopters up like a boss using SPADNext. We're also going to be talking about creating a force trim that you can really use with any aircraft and any axis, so stick around. If you are interested in acquiring any of my Overkills tutorial guides for Microsoft Flight Simulator, or simply interested in supporting the channel, please consider joining us on Patreon. Patreon subscribers level tier 2 and above have access to all of my guides, as well as any future releases that come down the road. Patreon link can be found in the description below.
Overkill simulations, watch us as we fly. Overkill simulations, a thrill will never die.
Alright guys, so as I said, welcome back to the channel. And so today we're going to talk about a bit of what we're going to be doing here. I'm going to be showing you guys first how to set up the force trim, because it requires us to also set up the axis at the same time for the cyclic. But I'm going to show you guys right here what force trim does and how it actually works in a helicopter. Now, force trim specifically in a helicopter. Okay, so you guys are going to see, let's say this is all going to be very dramatic action just so you guys can see the effect. So if we were really full forward on the collective and we were really far left on the collective trying to, whatever we're doing, whatever action, that gets very strenuous on your arm, okay? And it gets very tiring to hold it. And so what force trim does is if I press my force trim button, I can now let go of my controller. I am literally, both of my hands are now in my lap. I'm not holding onto the cyclic any longer. And then if I come back to it and I need to make a correction, I can still make a correction, press my force trim again, and it sets it now to the new position. And if I want to completely disregard the force trim and set everything back to a center position, I push a single button, and there's your force trim reset. And I'm going to show you how to create all of this in SPADNext. Now the advantage of this is you can literally do this with any aircraft and any axis, whether it be rudder pedals. I don't know what else you'd want to set it to, honestly, unless you, for whatever reason, had a temporary axis set to like your throttle, but you can set it up on the rudder pedal as well. So let's go ahead and get going here. Now guys, as we get into SPADNext, I want you all to be very aware that I am completely aware of the usually pretty poor customer support that you get from their developers. There's one gentleman who just seems to be like always like, did you check the videos? Did you do your own research first? Okay. And then there's another one that makes you feel absolutely stupid when you ask questions. I'm not going to give his name because I'm not going to put him in the limelight. If you've dealt with him, you know who I'm talking about. So I'm very aware of that. Yes, I think their customer support and customer service are jerks. Let's just call it what it is. But that's why you guys have people like me to hopefully help you guys over the top. There's also a bunch of community members out here. I actually found the steps to this on the Microsoft Flight Simulator forums, and I'm going to show you guys what that looks like. And there will be a link to this page down in the description below. And here is what I found. Okay, so there's two different methods by which to do this. There's another one way up here at the top. It's much simpler, but I find it to not be as effective in what I want. So with this one, essentially what you would do, the two different options here, what you would do here is anytime you were holding the button down, you would be able to freely move the cyclic. And then when you let go of the button, it would activate the trim. And I suppose you could reverse the commands here and it would work just as well, but I like this one a lot better because it allows you to do many, many more things and customize it. And it exposes you to more of SPAD and gets you more into customizing the event. So we're going to go through all of this together, and I'm going to show you guys how this all works. And in the process of this, like I said, we will be setting our axis and you'll be setting your trim at the same time. So we will have the cyclic, by the time we're done, we'll have the cyclic completely mapped and the force trim configured. All right, so first starting with the base here, we're going to just create an empty profile. Now, my previous video, guys, on SPAD, I showed you guys how to do a lot of electronics, so I'm probably not going to worry about battery and things like that, but we'll see how much time we have at the end of the video. All right, so new profile name, I'm going to get going. We're going to call this 2024, helicopter. And I'm just identifying it differently because SPAD works with both 2020 as well as 2024. I am keeping mine separate personally because if any of the commands have changed between the two versions of the simulator, you don't want to get them mixed up. So I'm identifying them specifically for my benefit. Okay, so there you go. And this is going to be a completely clean helicopter. Now we're going to come down here to our controls. The first thing we need to do is we need to identify what our axes are called. Okay, and so we're going to come down here actually to this guy here, extra. We're going to go to, let me clear that. Cheating. We're going to come up here to where it says data monitor. And we're going to go to add data. We're going to go to local, devices, and I'm going to find my stick, in this case my cyclic. So for me it's going to be the right VPC stick 50CM3. Okay, and then now these are going to be all of your buttons. Notice everything about the stick is labeled. We're looking for just the X and the Y axis, X being left and right, Y being forward and aft. So I'm going to hold control and highlight both of these two. Okay. And I'm going to hit OK. And now we have this. What we're interested here is going to be this value right here. Okay. I'm going to go full right. And you can see X maxes out at 100. If I bring it full left, it should go to 0. If I go full aft, Y should go to 100. If I go full forward, Y should go to 0. So 100 is the number that we want to remember. Okay, that is critical. If when you go full right or full aft or whatever that number peaks at, you guys need to take note of. Okay, so where it says value, whatever that number peaks at, you need to know. So if it's anything different than 100, write it down. Okay? All right. If it's 100, you can not worry about it. Okay? So, and then just for notation, a mental note, sort of remember what these last digits are. So for me, it's 4386. That identifies the device. This is the device identifier. Okay? So, we're done here. Now, we're going to come in here. Oh, back to our controls. I'm going to find the stick, and now we're going to start. So let's walk through what we got to do here. So coming to the first 3 steps, we need to create 3 local variables. Now, these can be named whatever you want. They just need to be named in a way that you are going to remember what they are. Okay? Now, for the sake of this tutorial, I am probably going to name them exactly as you see here. And I would recommend you do the same unless you're comfortable with this. And if you're comfortable doing this, you're probably not watching this video anymore. You've probably already jumped to the article and are just doing it. Okay? So, here we go. Now, how do we do that? We're going to find a button that we want to use to activate our force trim. Okay? In my case, it's going to be button 26 right here. This is a pinky button on my stick. I'm going to add event. Button pressed. Add action. Change data value. Okay? We're going to click on local, and you actually don't need to click on local here. You can come straight down to new local variable, but this is all of the locals. This is where you will find the variable once we've created it. So we're going to click new local variable, and this is where you can name it whatever you want. Okay, now I am going to type it. Actually, I'm going to do overkill just because it's easier, but everything else is the same. Elevator underscore save. Excuse me, guys. I'm so sorry. Session. Do you want this to be a global thing, or do we want it to just be for the profile? I want it to just be for the helicopter profile right now for the sake of this video. Okay, so this local variable will only exist while this profile is active. We're going to leave variable type as number, default to 0, and normalizer set to no decimal. Create. Now, this is created. So we're going to click right here where it says, okay, elevator save, and I'm going to do the next one. New local variable, and rinse and repeat for aileron. So overkill underscore, aileron underscore save, scope, profile, number, 0, no decimal, create. Rinse and repeat one more time. New local variable, overkill, and I'm just going to do FT for force trim. I do like that. That's perfect. Profile, number, 0, no decimal, create. Hit OK. And we're going to delete this for now because I want to start from scratch. Okay, so now you guys have seen how to create a new local variable for anything. It doesn't matter what you're doing. So we're back to the main menu. Now I'm going to show you how to add those variables and create functions with them. Okay, so we're going to go add event. We've got our button selected here. Button pressed. Add action. Change data value. And this is where we're going to start adding our buttons. We're going to start with aileron save. And this is where this gets a little bit different, so stay with me. We're going to go to expression, edit expression, and now we're going to come in over to these ways to come to the link here. And you can see, set the instruction. We want everything after the colon, so we want both of the parentheses all the way to the end of the line. Okay, just like this. And you can do Control C to copy, and Control V for Victor into the window. But there's a problem with this one. The button is not the same, remember, or the variable. Remember, I changed mine to overkill or OK aileron save. And the device is not correct. Remember, ours was like 3446 or something like that. Okay, this is his device, the developer's device who made this code, made this line. So we're going to first start here. I'm going to grab just to the open bracket, leave the two parentheses, and we're going to delete it. Now I'm going to go to add data, expand local, expand devices, and find our device just like we did before. There's the CM3. Oh, nope, that's the wrong one. Excuse me, I almost got myself. We want the throttle or the stick CM3. And I'm going to find the X-axis because we're working with the ailerons. And we're going to hit OK. So there, the device has now been identified. And now we need to do the same thing with the profile. So we're going to come over here, backspace that. Once again, add data. And now I'm just going to type overkill underscore or OK underscore, and it should come up. There it is, aileron save. It's already highlighted. So I'm going to hit OK. And now we can hit validate. And this is the current position of the flight stick. If I move the X-axis and hit validate again, I'm having to do this really awkwardly, so bear with me with my hand. You can see it's moved. If I move it to the right, the number's changed again. Put it back to center, and it already adjusted. Okay? So we're going to hit OK. And that is all we want for that one. Hit OK. Good to go. So now, our next step is we need to set the y-axis. So what I'm going to do here is, once again, copy, add action, change data value, find the elevator save, hit OK, expression, edit expression. Oops. Let's go back to our document. Clearly I didn't copy it. So Control C. There we go. There it is. And we got to do the same thing. So I'm going to do this a little bit faster. I'm going to find my flight stick, add data. Okay, I've already got the devices expanded. Find the CM3, the stick. Go to the bottom, find the y-axis, hit OK. Same thing with the profile. Come to the right, get that out of there. Add data. Go back to look for underscore, oops, overkill, find the elevator, hit OK. We can validate it. Okay, and we're good. And hit OK. And hit OK again. Okay, so now we've got that. See what the next step is. Now we need to do set own value, or FT, our force trim, to 1. So this one's going to be a little bit different. We're going to go to add action. We're going to change data value. Find force trim. And here, instead of edit expression, we're just going to type a 1. And hit OK, and you can see there's the action. Now, what that does is we've engaged the process where we want it to save the aileron position. We want to save the elevator position because the button is held down. But we want to give a chance to, before we release it, excuse me, we want to give ourselves a chance to actually center the stick again, basically to let go of it if we want. So we're going to add action, pause and delay. This is in milliseconds, so 1,000 milliseconds, 1,000 to 1 second. And we're just going to change this to 500 though. We want half a second. And then we're going to add action again, change data value, and just leave this as 0. It's the OK. Find your force trim profile again and hit OK, just like this. This is how it should look. Okay, and we are now done with that button. Okay, now while we're here, let's go ahead and take a look at what it would take. Well, never mind. We'll come back to the trim release. So now it's time to set up the axis. Let's set those up. Okay, so to set the axis now, we're going to go to our x-axis, add event, axis value changed, add action, and let's come over here and make sure I get this right. Yep, okay. Well, actually, we're going to add a condition first. Let's add a condition. And we're going to look for overkill's force trim. And we're going to leave the value as 0. It verifies that it is 0 currently. Add action. Send simulation event. And here I'm going to look for aileron set. Now be careful because there's like an aileron, axis aileron set. You don't want that one. You want just aileron set. And hit OK. And the static value, if I remember correctly, is expression. So we're going to copy this again. Control C. Go to expression. Edit expression. And you guys know what to do here. We need to find our device. If you delete the parentheses or anything by accident, just type it back in. So add data. Find our device again. There's the stick. X-axis. Hit OK. And then the profile. We need to make sure it's correct. Add data. And this one we're going to search for the profile. There's the aileron. And hit OK. Hit OK. And hit OK. All right. And then next, we're going to go to Y and do the same thing. Add event. Axis value changed. Add action. Send simulation event. Elevator set. Not axis elevator. We want elevator set. OK. Expression. Edit. Let's find our line. It's going to be the next one down. Here we go. And we need to remember to add the condition in. We haven't done that yet, but we will. And rinse and repeat here. Just like we did before. So I'm going to go a bit faster. Finding the stick. Grab the y-axis. Drop it in. Getting my profile in here. Add data. And by the way, if you named it just like he named it there, you're good. And this is going to be the overkill underscore elevator save. Hit OK. Hit OK. Hit OK. And make sure to add the condition. Browse. Overkill force trim. Leave it at 0. Check. Okay. Now, something real quick that hopefully nobody's gone too far with, because really you couldn't yet at this point. But I do want to point something out that I did forget to tell you guys. So let's talk about this for just a minute. On every point, so we have the expressions that we put in here, right? The two for the one for the elevator, the one for the ailerons, and then as well as the expressions here. Remember I told you guys, let's go edit expression for a second. Remember I told you if this number was different than 100, you needed to take note of that. So this right here is where you would put that number, right here. So for example, if yours was 200, you need to change this to a 200 on all those lines where we put this information in. Okay, I don't think there's many out there. I imagine it's probably the same. But anyway, that is a key that I forgot to miss, or I forgot to state. So now, should be able to test it. So if we move the cyclic, there's the cyclic moving back and forth, forward and aft, and we push our button, there it goes. It's locked in place. Pull it back, push the button, locked in place. Okay, so now your force trim should work at this point. If it doesn't, you missed a step. Okay, so now let's set up the trim reset. Okay, and that one is significantly easier. So now for the force trim reset, find a button. In our case, mine is going to be, they're way far away from each other. This one's my pinky button. This one is my thumb button up on the stick. So I'm going to use number 4. I'm going to add action, button pressed, add action, change data value, and we're going to start with the aileron save and set it to 0. That's all I want to do. Hit OK. Add action. Don't combine them all to the same menu. I've noticed that has mixed results. Do them one at a time. Button press, add action, change data value, find the elevator, set it to 0. Now add action, button pressed, send simulation event, and find, we can do aileron or elevator set since it's there, and we're going to set static value 0. And then finally, add event, add action, send simulation event, and we're going to look for aileron. And you want aileron set 0. And so now, when we come in here, so set my trim, push my trim reset. Oh no, that worked. Okay, no, it's good. Let's put it way over here. Okay. Yeah, we're good. Checking all directions here. And we're good. Perfect. So, you now have your trim reset, you have your force trim, and your axis bound, all by doing the same command. And this, I can't stress enough, guys, this process will work with any aircraft. It does not matter. It does not have to be a helicopter. This process will be the same for any of them, okay? Because we're actually using aileron and elevator controls, not rotor specific, okay? It's just this type of trim is usually found in helicopters, okay? So let's now look at, I think that's it for, for the trim. That is it. That's it for our trim and our cyclic configuration. So now we'll move into the rest of the helicopter mapping through SPAD. And don't forget, a link to all of these steps will be down in the description below. I do want to show you guys that this is about, look at where it is. It's at 7 out of 32 currently, March 10th. Okay, so you do have to scroll down a little bit to find this one. This will be the first one that you see. This is not the one that I did. This method, you must hold the button down or, actually, yeah, the way this is designed, you have to hold the button down the entire time you are moving your cyclic. Okay, where this one here is the way that I have demonstrated. So I recommend this one. It's got a few more steps into it, but it's far cleaner and works a lot better in my opinion. And again, if you wanted to add a rudder trim, you would just add your own, repeat these steps, add a new local variable for rudder, and then you would add all of this stuff again, changing this to whatever your rudder save is. Same thing with the sim connect. Here, instead of elevator set, it would be rudder set, okay? Following all of these steps, just adding an extra line and replacing, for example, aileron with rudder, but there'd be 3 steps instead of 2. Okay, I hope that makes sense. All right, so let's continue with the rest of it. All right, so after a nice simulator crash, let's go ahead and continue on. So let's see here. This sucks too. Crashing just started today. We are now going to move over to my Rotor Plus. This is the Virpil Collective with the throttle grip. I highly recommend it. Currently I have the Apache grip on it, but I also have the Hawk grip, which is a perfect grip for both combat and civilian operation. Obviously, the Apache is designed for the Apache, so keep that in mind. But anyway, so let's go ahead and get started here. So the first thing that we're going to adjust is the what is this thing called? The governor. So we're going to go to, a lot of times that twist grip is an RPM throttle. So you actually spin it up, slowly rotating, increasing the RPMs. In this particular situation, it's got two different settings, idle and flight. But so we're going to find that axis, this guy right here. We're going to hit Y, and we're going to go to add event. Axis value changed. Custom axis event. Now we're going to go browse, and we're just going to type twist. And we want either one of these, honestly, will work. But I'm going to choose the one with just the value in it. We're going to hit OK. Use axis value. And hit OK again. OK again. And now if we look down, I can now set it to idle. And if I rotate it forward, it'll put it back into flight. So that part's taken care of. Now we just need the collective. So coming back in here, let's find our collective axis. Yep, should be X. And again, add action, custom axis event, browse, and I'm sure you guessed it, collective. And I'm going to find B Rotor collective, and it's the one right here with the value in it is what I'm using. Use axis value, hit OK, look down. All right, and we're good. It's a bad place to test that. I probably shouldn't be on an oil rig for that, but that'd be a bad place to lose control of the helicopter. But anyway, so now we have our governor set, or your RPM range, depending on what helicopter you're in, and we have the collective set. We have our cyclic mapped and our force trim created, as well as the force trim reset. Why is that so dull? And so now we want the rotor brake as well as the fuel cutoff. So let's get those two done. So coming down through here, for the rotor brake and fuel shutoff, I want to use these two axes here. This one's going to be my rotor brake. And again, exactly the same as what you guys just saw. Custom axis event, browse. I'm gonna look for rotor. Where are you? Let's go up. I like to use the B event, rotor brake. Hit OK. Use axis control. And this one, I do believe I do need to invert, so I'm going to be really careful with this one. Do it quickly. Nope. I need to invert that. So to invert it, we're just going to open the axis back up, and it's right here on the bottom line. Save, and I'm going to move this really quickly. There we go. All right, that's set. And same thing with the fuel shutoff. Rinse and repeat. Let's go ahead and type fuel underscore. Fuel shutoff. That one right there. Use axis value. And again, being very fast with this. Cool, so it's set correctly. I can already tell because it's now in the... Yep, there we go. All right, so we are set. So let's just go for a quick circle around the oil rig. We'll bring it back in. I'll show you how it all comes together. So I'm going to pick the helicopter up. Little test flight here. Oh, wait. I did not map the rudder pedals. Although I thought we did. Nope, guess I didn't. Add axis. This one's easy. Standard axis event. Rudders. Full left, set. Full right, set. Leave them centered, set. Hit OK, OK, and save. There. Now we're good. Oh, no we're not. They need to be inverted. And the funny thing is I actually knew that one. Let's try that again. Last time. Here we go. There it is. Let's get away from the rig. And now, for example, I'm going to set my trim. I have now let go of my cyclic. Now I'm a little too far left, so I'm going to line it back up here. Get us a bit more stable on the right side so it doesn't rotate. Trim again. And now I've let go of the cyclic completely. And you can still make minor corrections as we're seeing now. Trimmed again. Trim again. And now to reset it all. There it goes. Alright, so now let's land it and we'll shut it down. And now let's begin. So first thing we're going to do, using our twist grip, or whatever axis you bound, come down to idle. Watching those RPMs fall. Go upstairs. Ignition off. Damn it. Fuel shut off. Nope, wrong one. There we go. It's an electronic rotor brake, so make sure that you leave your battery on. We'll start applying the rotor brake. And you have to leave the battery on up until the point the rotor stops. Otherwise, obviously, the brake will disengage. The rotor brake back. And avionics, horn, anti-collision was already off, generators, battery. And that is a very quiet helicopter now. As always, guys, I hope you found this video useful. Again, I totally get it. SPADNext has its faults on the customer service side, but that is a fabulous application. It works extremely well. Microsoft Flight Simulator, much, much easier than using the in-game UI. So, as always, guys, stay safe and healthy. Hit that like and subscribe button if you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll see you in the next one.